Okay, so today we're doing point-slope form. We have talked about standard form, we've talked about y-intercept, and today we're going to talk about point-slope form. We're going to learn about writing the equation in point-slope form, and we're also going to then graph it. So point-slope looks like this. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to slope times x minus x sub 1. This is point-slope form. This is point-slope form. Now, as you figured out, we're not real creative in the math world on how we name it. This has a point, x1, y1, and it has a slope. That's all we're doing with it. So notice the form is subtraction. Keep that in mind as you go through and write these. The form is subtraction. So if we look at this first one, name the point, the slope, and the point. Okay, so the slope, that's easy. That's the coefficient. That's the number outside the parentheses, or what we call the quantity of. So our slope is 2. Our point is right here. Now look at our form and look at our point. Okay, if I have subtraction, I take it straight out. If I don't, I have to switch the sign. So here I have subtraction, so my point, my x value is 3, my y value is 7. Okay, look at number 2. You can tell the slope, write down the slope, you know that. Slope is 1/2, good. Now the point, again, take straight out. My x value is 1, my y value is 11. Okay, let's look at number 3. Now number 3, write down the slope, you got that. -5/3. Okay, and your point, well, this one's easy. It's just straightforward. That's x minus, so that's a 6. But see how this is plus a 9? So this is y minus -9 is what's actually happening there. We have to take the opposite. If I have a plus, I actually have a negative for my coordinate. So it'd be a -9. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm going to give you one more. Y minus 3 is equal to 4 times x plus 1. Write the slope, write the point. So for slope, I'm sure you got that. That's 4. For your point, okay, did you get -1? Because I have a plus, I have to do the opposite, and 3. Hopefully that's what you got. Okay, so now we're going to write the equation in point-slope form using what's given, a slope and one point. So all I'm going to do is plug it into, I'm going to write this equation out again so you can see it right above this. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to the slope times x minus x sub 1. Okay, so I'm going to write down the form and then I'm going to leave spaces for all of these. So y minus is equal to x minus. So my slope is 3. I plug that in. My point is 4 and 5. Okay, my x value goes here. My y value goes there. That's it. If all I'm doing is writing point-slope form, you're done. Just plug it in. So see how it's easiest if I write the equation, write the form first and plug everything in. So let's write that form again. Y minus is equal to parentheses x minus. Let's plug our information in. Our slope is 1/9. Our x value is -7. We're going to clean that up in just a second. Don't worry about it. Our y value is 1. So we're going to clean this up. So y minus 1 is equal to 1/2 times x plus 7. That's my final answer. Yes? Okay, that's the reason if I plug it into the form and then change my signs. Okay? So number 3, if you want to try that one, go ahead. I'm going to give you about a 5-second leeway. Okay, so my slope is -3/2. My y-coordinate is -11. My x-coordinate is 0. So again, let's clean that up a little bit. Y minus the negative is going to be y plus 11. -3/2. Well, what is x minus 0? Isn't that just x? So this is actually in point-slope form, or you can leave it as -3/2 x times x minus 1. You're probably going to see it more like this. Either way is acceptable. Okay? Good. Now we're going to go add one more step. So here they gave us the point and the slope. Well, now what they're going to do is that they're going to give us 2 points. So notice they tell us the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to use the slope formula. We're going to have to find slope. Because I don't care if you use the slope formula, you need to find slope. Okay? So we're going to find slope first, then we're going to plug it in. then choose one point, okay, because it doesn't matter. You just need a point, and plug, whoops, plug in the point in the slope. Okay, so here we go. We're going to find the slope. So I like to do it by taking my y value and plugging in my y and x value from the first one. I minus my y value and my x value. So I always plug y up top, x on the bottom. When I simplify that, I get 5 over negative 10, so I get negative 1/2. Okay, there's my slope. Now, does it matter which point I pick? No. But let's look at it and think about it for a second. When I look at the formula for point slope form, I'm going to write that down. And one of the reasons I write it down is because every time I write it down, my brain's going to remember it better. So I have y minus y sub 1 is equal to slope times x minus x sub 1. Okay, and we're going to plug that information in. Well, look, my slope is 1/2. I'm going to have to multiply it times x. Oh, yay, but they're both even, so not a problem. So let's plug it in. Which point do you want to pick? I'm going to pick this one because it doesn't have negatives, and I mess up negatives all the time, so I'm not going to pick that one. Y minus my y value is equal to the slope times x minus my x value. Now, this side is cleaned up. Okay. Oh, I just have to write in point slope. Oh, baby, we're done. Nice. That's it. So on this one, it doesn't matter which point you would have picked. So this is an answer. Okay, these are both the answer. And y minus 7 is equal to negative 1/2 times x minus negative 4. And then we would clean that set up. So y minus 7 is equal to negative 1/2 times x plus 4. These are both the correct answer. And I know you're going, well, which one should I give? Don't you worry about that. I'll worry about that. You give me the correct one, and we're not going to leave it in that form too long, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, number 2, find the slope. Find the slope. I'm going to pause. You're going to find the slope. You found the slope was 3, correct? Okay, now you're just going to plug that in. Which point do you want? I'm always going to pick I'm going to do both, but I'm always going to, if I get to choose, I'm going to choose the one without negatives. So y minus my y value is equal to slope times x minus my x value. That one's done. Or I could have had y minus negative 8 is equal to my slope times x minus negative 3. Clean that one up, and I get y plus 8 is equal to 3 times x plus 3. I'm not used to leaving it in point slope. We don't do that too often, so that always throws me off a little to leave it that way. Okay, number 3, try it all on your own. Go. So far, hopefully you already have that slope as negative 2. I then wrote down the form, then we can plug it in. So let's do that now. Go. So here are the two answers that I came up with. My slope was negative 2. If I plugged in the first point, this is my equation. If I plugged in the second point, this is my equation. Good. Let's go to graphing. Okay, so we were on this page right here. We're going to turn 1. This is going to be part of your assignment. We're going to turn another one to where it says graphing using point and slope. And I have my copy right here. That's easier to write on. Okay. So we're going to graph. This is not anything real hard. It's pretty much just using, before when we graphed using slope y-intercept, we were given the y-intercept. This time, we're just going to give the point. The point-slope formula of an equation looks like this. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to slope times x minus x sub 1. Okay? You'll use this information in the formula to graph a line. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plot the point. Okay? This should look familiar. With slope-intercept, we plotted the y-intercept. So what's my point? Let's always write down the point. The point here is 1, okay, because remember, we want subtraction. We want subtraction. If we have subtraction, that means everything comes out to be positive. That's our point. So we're going to plot 1, 2. Using the slope, find the second point. So our slope is 1/3. So I'm going to go up 1 over 3, or I could have gone down 1, 3 to the left. There's my graph. Okay, do you see how it's just like slope-intercept? The only difference is you plot a point instead of the y-intercept. We don't know the y-intercept on this one, nor do we care. Okay, so we're going to graph this one. Let's write down the point. Let's write down the slope. Okay, my slope is negative 2. My point, okay, I'm going to write out slope-intercept, point-slope form again, sorry. Okay, so I want subtraction. So my y value is 5. That one comes straight out. But my x value, notice I have subtraction here, but I have addition here. So that needs to be a -1. See how that's a -1, 5. So I plot the point -1, 5. I use my slope. Remember, we want slope to be a fraction, -2/1. Okay, so always make it into a fraction. So I'm going to go down 2/1, up 2/1. Draw your line. Go all the way to the edge of the graph so I don't have to take off points. Okay, good. Try these two. Go. Okay, let's just check in for a second. Did you get the point was 3, 2? And what's the slope here? There's not one visible, so what is it? That's right, it's 1. It's 1. We don't see one. Point here. Now notice these are both pluses, but remember point slope form is a minus. Okay, so that means you have to take the opposite. The form is a negative, so if I have a positive, I have to take the opposite. So both of those are an opposite. And then my slope, spelled with an E, is 2/3. Okay, graph those. Go. So your first graph should look like this. And I always kind of double check myself. Is my slope is positive? Is my line positive? Yes, it is. Okay, just want to refresh your memory. So I'm going to step through this one. If my point is -4, -1, I go over -4, -1. I use a slope of 2/3. Oh, did you remember here? Your slope is 1/1. So up 1/1, down 1/1. Okay, slope here is 2/3. It's already a fraction. So I'm going to go up 2/3, 1, 2, 3. Down 2/1, 2, 3. Good. Okay. Questions? Oh, well, if we have questions, you know where to find us. Okay, let's look at homework. So the first page of homework you come to is writing linear equations. These are task cards. So if you go to the folder for today, you're going to find the task cards in Schoology. And then you're going to have to just write the equations in point slope. Just like we did on the worksheet, you're going to be given some where it just gives you the actual point and the slope. You're going to write the equation. Somewhere it gives you 2 points. Okay? So you're going to be given those two things. Then the next page is graph. We already did those for notes. And then the next one is kind of a fun one. Graphing point slope form, killing zombies. Okay, not provoking violence, but zombies are not real, so it's okay. It's just a fun little game. This is what, before video came out, this is what we would have called a game. Okay, so we're going to graph. You take this equation, you take these equations, and you graph, and you see which zombie do you knock out, okay? Graph each line, match it to the zombie that it kills. To kill a zombie, the line must run through any part of its body. Any part. Wow, this is gruesome. Anyway, each line should only kill one zombie. If you kill more than one, you are not precise enough. So this is going to be where you want a straight edge, and you're going to be doing that. So that's kind of fun. Now, here's the other thing, is that there's actually another assignment that you could do at this point, but you don't have to. This is notes. Please wait. Those notes are going to come in the next lesson. This is also a worksheet that we want you to practice on. We want you to be really good at point slope form. So you can also do this one, write an equation in point slope form of the line that passes through the given point. So you're going to be given that. This is probably like your task cards. So check with your teacher exactly how many they want you to do. Graph the equation. Then this next one is write an equation in point slope form. We're going to just skip that for the sake of time. It's not that we can't handle it. And if you want to, go ahead and practice them, and I'll just show you what this means. So here is, no, that's a y-intercept. So let's do this one. You can take any 2 points that you want. Choose a point, okay? And that would be, so here the point is 2, -2. I chose this one. My slope is up 1, 2, 3 over 1. So my equation, y minus the y value is equal to slope times x minus the x value. There it is. We are not requiring that you do these because we're not going to test you over them. They're very rarely used, but I just thought I'd show it to you. And then write an equation in point slope form that passes through. So main one I want you to practice off of here is graph using the equations, okay? So check with your teachers on exactly what problems they want you to do for the assignment. Good. Okay, that's what we want you to work on. We know it's a little more, but we expect you to also work on Wednesday, probably this week, in order to get some of that work done. If you have questions, you know where to find us. Thanks.